Okay, welcome back. So, we talked a little bit in the last video about the dopamine drop and why it's so vital to understand that we're addicted to, you know, easy access to trickles of dopamine coming in, but this creates problems because then we can't tolerate dopamine drops. We don't haven't built the muscle for tolerating loss, rejection, and failure, which causes drops in the dopamine levels and all the pain you can imagine. Sadness, depression, rejection, anger, anxiety, fear, all these things emanate from a drop in the dopamine levels that's caused by the lower brain that's trying to manipulate us to not lose things for evolutionary reasons that we talked about. But there's even a more profound implication of not having a tolerance for dopamine drops. And that's right here, the title of this slide, or this video, which is the two keys to excellence, success, connection, and happiness. It's the same two keys, and I'm going to show you why it makes sense from a brain science perspective. And this by itself, I hope, will be a tool or an insight that will be very positively shifting for you, very even inspirational potentially. And then we're going to dot connect back to the dopamine drop and tools that we can use to tolerate the dopamine drop. So pause the video for a second and think about what are the two keys to all four of these things: excellence, success, connection, and happiness. It's hard to believe, but it's the same two keys. And once you understand this, okay, now to put this in perspective, let's go here. So the good news is that despite what your dopamine system might be telling you at level one, that I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not attractive enough, your brain is telling you that you are not good enough. And that's a level one way of thinking. In fact, everyone has the ability to rising levels of excellence, success, connection, and happiness, which is very exciting. But it requires building tolerance for the two keys: the excellence, success, connection, and happiness. So let's see if you came up with them. Key number one is how much time you put into getting better at a skill, at knowledge, at understanding, in connections, in relationships. That's key number one. Key number two, which most people don't get, is your ability to tolerate feedback. And one of the jokes I like to make is, like the from the movie A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson. He says, you can't handle the truth, right? It's true. We can't handle the truth because our lower brain yells at us, drops our dopamine levels anytime we're having success, or excuse me, rejection, loss, or failure. So if anyone's giving us feedback, whether it's coaching feedback or competition feedback or counting feedback, metrics, right? I talk about the three C's: coaching, competition, and counting, metrics of how you're doing on knowledge, understanding, and skills. We get that funny feeling in our stomach, or our chest tightens up, or our jaw tightens up, and we start getting upset or angry or sad or losing energy. This is what happens when the dopamine levels drop. Lower brain is manipulating us to avoid loss of status. But in fact, there is no other way to expand the big four of excellence, success, connection, and happiness without getting feedback about what's working and not working. And I'm going to make that point even more powerful with with an image that's coming up. And so the action I want you to take away is that the more discomfort we take on with the dopamine drop, the more we build different parts of a higher brain muscle that allows us to tolerate greater sacrifice of time, as well as sacrifice from feedback and the potential pain that that causes. Why does this make sense? Because if you look at, and these are neural networks, so basically everything in life is basically a neural network, right? Here's a neuron, and then you can expand it, branches of that called dendrites, and you can expand it even further. Everything, how much knowledge you have, how much understanding you have, how much wisdom you have, what skills you have, your ability to be happy. your ability to regulate and shut off the lower brain when it gets dysregulated from rejection, failure, and loss. You can expand this as much as you want. We know this now. This is a fact. Everyone has neuroplasticity. Everybody has the ability to expand these higher brain neural networks. And the payoff of that is greater exhilaration and greater beauty and fulfillment being brought into our lives. Everyone can do this. It doesn't matter what level you're at with regards to knowledge and understanding and skills. The really great thing is just moving higher. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. That's a mistake because people who are very successful, and I've been fortunate enough to be successful in different ways, there's a lot of luck involved. You were given a certain amount of intelligence or a certain amount of confidence and a certain amount of support and a certain amount of luck, and you started a positive cycle. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. That's not the game. The game is where are you on a 0 to 100 level with knowledge, understanding, skills, happiness, self-regulation ability, the ability to stay higher brain and shut off the lower brain. If you're at a 10, your game is to get to a 15. You may be at a lower level through a lot of bad luck. But don't compare yourself to someone who's at an 80 or a 90. They had a lot of good luck. And so they shouldn't be all proud about themselves of being a 90. They got lucky and you got unlucky. But change the game, right? Change the game or win life and play the right game. Your game is to go from a 10 to a 15 to a 20. And that's based on the time you put in and the feedback you tolerate, because that's going to allow you to expand your neural networks. And so time, and especially emotions, cause neural networks. People say, oh, this sounds like a lot of work. It's not. When you are really into it and you're tolerating the feedback and you're getting positive emotions and even negative emotions, that accelerates how much your neural networks expand because of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. We are peak machines. We sense when things are really important, positive and negative, and that causes us to learn faster and expand neural networks faster. Okay, so and this correlates really well with the 6 levels of happiness because you can see here as we get more mastery over the lower brain, that's peacefulness. As we become more creatively fearless, that's exhilaration. As we become connected to each other, that's that sense of connection and fulfillment and beauty comes about when we individually and collectively create more and more, build more and more our neural networks, processes and products and services, communities and teams. All these things are systems that are expanding and becoming more and more intricate and beautiful and functional. A lot of payoffs come from that, and everyone can get involved. And so I want you to really focus on this idea of discomfort tolerance is the key. Okay. Take on discomfort in life. The more you take on, the more you're going to build this higher brain muscle. But we're going to make it a little bit easier by teaching you a whole bunch of tools that decrease the discomfort of the dopamine drop. Okay. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video.